I it is Jody, and it is Motivational Monday. I hope you're having a great Monday. I just got this little dress in, trying it on for Grace and Co Boutique. So cute. But I just wanted to get on here. I want to make sure that you all can hear me. All right, all right, all right. But guys, as you're joining, let us know, as we always do, just where you're joining from, how your Monday's going, and it really is okay if it's not going okay. But let me make sure I can hear. But guys, your Monday's going, and yes. How is your Monday? How is your Monday? All right. Say hello. I didn't put that on here, but say hello and where you're joining from. I'm going to give it a couple minutes. So let's start doing comments because if any of you guys saw, I did a little clip. I pulled over on my way coming home, and I kind of feel like the Lord wants me to talk in that area. Today is the last Monday of August. I cannot even believe it. And for me personally, it kind of it has a lot of personal meaning in many ways. Honestly, I can't even believe it's been a whole year, to be honest with you. In some ways, it feels like it's been 3 years in one. Shout out if that's you. But yeah, I said, where are you joining from? Let me know. Let's see, is that going to work? Yes, say hello, joining from. So I'm joining from Camp Gambini headquarters, my house. It's warm today. I don't know how warm it is, but yeah, it is definitely warm. So, and I said, how is your Monday? So let me know, how is your Monday? And if you're watching later, that's okay. We do hashtag replay, joining from. And this is really all about uplifting, encouraging. And we do have a community called Camp Gambini Community. I am broadcasting on my YouTube channel. So, hello, YouTubers. We love the follows, love the shares. And my heart is to really inspire, motivate, exhort, encourage, because life can be hard. And it's much better to do it together. And it's much better to be authentic and true. So, what you will find is I definitely am a lover of Jesus, and God is my center and my rock with everything. What you will find, though, is that I'm authentic. So if I'm not having a great day, I will let you know in a way that is hopeful and true. And what do we do to turn around? Those of you that don't know, I have been a financial investor and planner and advisor, I think, and in the banking, all the things. I think I added it up. It's like 27, 28 years, which is kind of crazy to me. But for the last 4 years, I've had a coaching company called Connecting the Dots with Jody Gambini. And really, my heart is that I want you to be healthy, wealthy, and whole. So, healthy looks both like physical, mindset is huge, and emotional intelligence. Like, sometimes we just don't learn all of our life skills. We don't learn how to communicate properly. So those are some things I coach with. And then the wealth is obviously a mindset, but with the background I have in the financial wellness, the financial helping businesses, entrepreneurs launch their next thing or their first business. I've helped thousands of businesses in my career. So now I do it on a coaching and consulting basis. And then, I want people to learn how to have that wealthy mindset. I'm just going to tell you, sometimes it's the mindset that's important. So, those of you that are, and then healthy, wealthy, and whole. Whole looks like, guys, you know, when we say triggering and this triggered me or that triggered me, um, God is, God wants to, I believe that's a sign that we might need some healing in an area. We might need to work on something so that we can thrive. My whole heart is around breaking through, breaking that pattern or that behavior or that thing that you never thought you could break through, the God-sized dream. But I'm going to tell you, it's not just about goals. It's not just about being like a taskmaster. It's not about all of those things. What it's really about is those three things: that you are healed, healthy, wealthy, and whole. So you're healthy, you're wealthy, and you're whole, you're healed from things. Because you know what? No matter what, and I actually had a pretty good upbringing. I mean, really great upbringing, mom and dad. But you know what? At 18, my dad, Larry, died suddenly. And then and so that was really challenging time. I was working at Disneyland, all the things. And so we have things that happen. And so August 18th is the anniversary of my dad Larry passing. And then today is the first birthday without my dad Ed, who was my second dad, who's in my life for 28 years. So, but you see, I'm smiling because I've learned how to deal with my grief. I've learned how to process when I'm not okay. I've learned how to allow myself to cry my eyes out, which it still happens. But in the probably the last 7 years, I have people that um, I'm accountable to. I have mentors. I have a counselor and inner healer. Those of you, if you watched one of my Motivational Mondays, I had my friend Tina Hester on. She's my gal. If you guys need that, I always refer to her. But I just is really, that is my heart. So, yeah. So if you're joining, let me know where you're joining from. I was going to go over, it feels hotter than 96, but it's 96. I was just outside and I was like, oh, I could just sit in the sun right now. But how is your day going, guys? So I wanted to, hold on, I'm going to send this to a few people because normally by now I would have, let's see here. All right, come join. But I pulled over, and if I see some people are on, but no one's saying hello today. So I'm recording it live. So I'm probably gonna like do a quick reset here in a second. Just meaning I'm gonna start all over again so I can clip it so that those that are watching later don't have to see all the chit chat. But I know it's been rough, guys. I know it's been rough. I've been reviewing, but I'm looking at August and I'm like, holy cow, I'm almost done. Okay. I'm still not drinking all my water, but I'm focusing on it. I still have been trying to read this all year, every single day, and it's not happening every day, guys. I've got over here my binder that I have all my tracking, but guess what? Every day it gets a little better. So I want to encourage you. Sometimes when a habit, when something we've been doing doesn't quite seem to go the way that we are expecting, it can be a little challenging. Encouragement, encouragement. So, all right, guys, I'm just waiting for people to join in here. It's kind of unusual. I don't know. You know what? I hope I'm live. It says I'm live, but um and I am on here. So, okay, I know I'm live. I just don't know why it's not working. All right. Okay, Andrea. Hey, hey. Keep posting in here. Lately, until I get more posts, it doesn't really let everybody know you're live. Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's been a little slow to let people know. I'll probably have to go back in and like kind of shorten my video and then upload it back in. Um, so how are you, Andrea? So I said it's the last Monday. I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you posted something. Um, yeah, let's rock those algorithms. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Hey, Erica, right on. Right on. Okay, we're finally getting people on. The algorithms are crazy. If anybody has any tips on Facebook lately and Instagram, I don't know what's going on, but I used to get tons of on my reels on Instagram, and my Facebook reels were much lower. And now my Instagram reels, I'm lucky if I get like 50 or 100. And I used to get 1,000 to like 4,000 views on most of mine that I would just do from the heart. I love to do things to encourage and motivate people. That's why now I have my own coaching company and I coach and consult. In those areas to help people and help them get through the next thing. But I only do it because the Lord tells me to do it, and it really is partially a ministry. So Erica, joining from Decatur, Georgia. Woohoo! Right on, Erica. How are you? All right, guys. I'm just sending some messages out in case some people if they want to join, but let's get going. Yes, Andrea, if you have any tips on how to rock the algorithms, I super appreciate. I am on TikTok now, um, over there actually to order this dress because they had a big like coupon and um, my profile wasn't working, so I just felt like the Lord's having me over there, but it works very different, so you can't go live until you have 1,000 followers. So everybody, it's just Jody.Gambini. Go, if you have a TikTok, please go find me, please follow me and share, because I want to do a couple really fun things over there, but you got to have 1,000 follows. So I'm still going to be on Facebook, I'm still going to be on YouTube, I'm still going to be everywhere else. So if you're watching on Facebook, don't think I'm getting rid of you guys. But I'm just trying to stay up with everything. I'm good. Happy to be here. Yes, so awesome to have you, Erica. So, what is your guys' weather? So, ours is 96 today, but it felt a little hotter. Typically, September, believe it or not, I'm here in kind of middle, which is Stockton, California. We're about an hour south of Sacramento, which is our capital. If you know where Redding is, which is my hometown, I'm about 3 hours south from that, right down I-5, and we're about an hour and a half from San Francisco. That's with no traffic. That's just if you got on the freeway and went. Sometimes it could take you 3 hours, but it might even be less than an hour and a half, to be honest with you. But there's normally always traffic. So oh, it's cooking. It's hot in San Diego. You guys just had like storms a week ago. So It's warm. That's unusual. San Diego normally always has that great breeze. So yeah, but traditionally here, September is a lot of the end of August and September are sometimes some of the hottest times. I remember this time last year in September, it was like 108, 100. Like it was the same temperature here that it was in Redding, and Redding is normally a whole lot hotter. So yeah, so I'll still be rocking the tank tops and dresses and all the things probably for another month or so. And then fall will start a little bit. But fall's kind of weird around here. It's like warm, you got to layer a little bit, and then sometimes every year it can be different. Last fall we started to get cold pretty fast. By the end of October it was chilling up. And then some falls, our leaves don't even come off till Christmas because it stays. So it will be interesting to see. We had the craziest, wildest, wet and rainy winter, which was amazing. I mean, water is in all the lakes, all the things. We had tons of snow up and down California. Crazy wild. People got snow that had never had snow. We here in Stockton did not get snow, but I was up at my mom's in Red Bluff when it snowed, and Red Bluff I don't think had snow for a while. Redding, I think all my friends from Redding, it was like they lived in like a snow area. Normally it gets snow like once a year, but it was, yeah, the weather was really interesting. So I don't know what we're gonna have. We've actually had a cooler summer here, honestly. We've maybe only had like maybe 2 or 3 weeks of like 4 or 5 days of like 108, 106, but we've really hovered between 96 to 100 at a high, which that's like amazing. Um, we're not near the ocean, so we do get the Delta breeze. Unlike Sacramento, gets a little bit, but nothing like Stockton. LA got slammed with the storm. Okay, okay. So you're down south. You're in California like me. Woohoo! I got another California girl. You're native San Diegan. I lived in San Diego near is it Garnet Beach? Garnet. There's like this main road and it went straight to the ocean. And I lived there with my aunt and uncle for a half a year because I was going to Cal State Fullerton. And then I moved back down there. I lived in Orange County. I worked at Disneyland, um, and then went to Cal State Fullerton for a short period of time. Then ended back up in Sacramento area for quite a while. I've lived everywhere in California almost, I think. I mean, in the areas, I would say. So I've lived in the whole Sacramento area. I've lived up in Northern California. I've lived in the Bay Area. I've lived in Orange County, San Diego area, and Stockton. I've lived all over in the Sacramento area, from Auburn to Grass Valley to Rockland to Roseville to Elk Grove. So I've lived in a lot of different parts of California. So, and one brief stint in Salt Lake City, Utah, where I almost died. Um, Grand and Garnet, yeah, 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 yeah. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is, Andrea. Um, right on. Andrea is newer to over in that's right. You were sharing about a ministry that you went and spent time with, and that testimonial that was so powerful. Um, let's see, what are you saying? You go to Fresno. You just took a trip to Fresno a few weeks ago to visit your grandkids. Oh, awesome. Yeah, Fresno's probably about 2 hours south of us, 2.5 hours. But if you ever get that way again, let me know. Maybe we can connect. I actually have been feeling like I'm going to do some kind of events here locally that people could fly in or go to. Um, it keeps coming to me. So matter of fact, today I was having a long business meeting with God. Carmen, what's up, Girl, I don't know if anybody ever has a business meeting with God. Those of you that haven't seen the interview, if you're inside Camp Gambini, had an amazing interview with my friend Shay Bynes, who has wrote several books, one doing business God's way, but one of the most powerful ones, and they just relaunched it for the 5th anniversary, is called Grace Over Grind. And she is the one that has business meetings with God. It's all about having time, right? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Because I can grind with, I was in the corporate world for a really long time, and I grew up with an amazing work ethic. And my parents had their own business, so I like worked or I did little slide jobs even at like 8 to 10 years old to get my first horse. I had a little lawn mowing business. I had a little babysitting business. Like, my parents were really great at teaching us how to have our own little businesses, and do those kind of things. So I have, but because of that, my life really changed when I started to learn the rhythms of God's voice and grace over grind and hustle, which I know some people love grind and hustle. And if you love that, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to tell you I was the queen of grind and hustle and probably didn't know it. And many times I would get out in front of God. And many times I didn't wait in the waiting room when I should have. And I had a lot of extra exhaustion and work and all the things. Um, yeah, that would be fun, Andrea. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because I've just been sitting here, and you know what? I could really go one of two ways with this if I'm just being real. We are at the end of August, my friends. And if I could just tell you, but I'm telling you these things because I hope it makes you feel better, because I always think that we have two patterns that are going to go through our head, of the hope of it's not over yet. Oh boy, if things haven't gone so good, oh boy, I can hardly wait to see what's coming, right? Or, oh my gosh, like, it's normally the inside voice that is not very kind. It tells you you messed up. It tells you that you've got to perform. It tells you that God is punishing. It tells you all of these things. So I'm just going to tell you that this is still a victory for me, because I've had to figure out how to use all of this. And every single month, some months I haven't done any, but now I've got little labels. And there's an area for calendars, there's an area to track things, there's an area for my journals, and dating it. You know what? Some I got done, some I didn't. And I could really go, okay, it's about going into September, and I've still, like, not gotten to where I want to go. Or I can say, all right, God, what are you saying? What are we going to celebrate? Because celebrating and seeing how far you've come or what is accomplished is great. And I there's been a lot going on in my life in the last 12 months, and we're actually almost right on the anniversary of some of this stuff happening. And I feel like a lot of you probably have had that too. And so my word yesterday of encouragement, that I literally pulled over, I was driving back from Red Bluff, and the Lord put it on my heart so strong. He's like, you need to pull over. It took me a while to even find a place that wasn't so sunny that I didn't have all those glares. And he was like, you need to get on, Jody. And I want you to encourage people that those things that they feel like, why am I even trying? I'm never going to get it right. It's the end of the month and I didn't really get to where I wanted to go. Tell them to not give up. Tell them they've got farther than they thought. And that's what I want to tell you today. You're farther than you think. And what I wanted to really share with you is, so the month of August, 8 means new beginnings. And then sometimes in September, we have I'm not Jewish, I'm Christian, but it's founded on Jewish holidays and Rosh Hashanah. And then it goes into the days of Awe and Yom Kippur. Well, they're early this year. They're from September 15th to, I think it's like a week and a half. And so I was thinking about the fact that, like, just the victories that happened in August, the little victories of doing the things like drinking my water. I fasted for, I think it's under 40 days, to be honest with you. I knew I was supposed to do it up to the 27th, and I didn't start it the day that would have made it 40. But that's, I hope that you know, like, I just knew I was supposed to do it. God said, do it till the 27th. That's what I did. That was yesterday. I'm kind of sitting with him because I feel like I'm ending one month and I really want to hear him, because the Jewish New Year is Rosh Hashanah, which is in like two or 3 weeks. So I've noticed, and my birthday's on October. So I've noticed for me, I feel like my year always ends around this time. And if I don't miss it, I will start to freak out. I'll start to think I got it wrong. And many times I can look back, and the fourth quarter of every year has always been one of my best quarters in business, in a lot of different things. When I look at it, it's normally a lot of shifts sometimes happen, some hard things happen, but there's always a lot going on. And so I just want to encourage you that we're we're catapulting in the month of 9. I don't know what 9 means. I don't have it handy right now. But one thing that I know is everywhere I'm turning, and today I turned to read my Bible for the day, and it's like that year in the Bible thing. And it's on Job too. I'm in Job. So I really feel like the Lord's speaking in Job, and just the faithfulness. Job was super faithful and believing who God was. And under the suffering, under the things, I'm just going to say, I feel like June and July, I probably felt like Job. And I just had a lot of physical things. But in August, I noticed some things are shifting, and they're shifting. But they took me sitting with God and asking him what he wanted me to do. And so I shifted some things, and I always say just start to do it. Don't worry about the perfection, because I am a recovering perfectionist, and that just does not work very well. But 9 also represents how many months that it takes to carry a baby, right? Something that's born. And so I was thinking about that. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that, but September is actually the last month of third quarter. So you haven't even gone into the fourth quarter. And if you've been in the business world, they're always like, if you haven't met all your goals by the end of the third quarter, you're never going to make them. Let's start focusing on, there's all this pressure and stuff in, I don't know if any of you guys are in places where there's pressure, but I just want to tell you that there's not pressure in the kingdom of God. God's not worried about it. He already knows where he's taking you. He already knows where he's leading you. And we get messed up when we decide that we're going to sit down, when we decide we're going to give up. So I just want to encourage you, if there's something that you've been about ready to cancel, if it looks like you don't even see how the heck anything can shift or turn, like you're starting to panic, you're starting to go in fear, just remember that you can read anywhere in the Bible, but one of probably my most favorite ones of all time, there's a lot, but it is when Moses led the children of Israelites, and it was all these little steps God gave them. And sometimes I think we don't think how long. Moses, there was a burning bush. God would give him instructions. Then he went to Pharaoh and told him to release the people from Egypt. They didn't do it. He told Pharaoh this, that. I mean, if you read in the Bible in that area, there's a whole bunch of things that God kept telling Moses to do, and he kept doing them over and over, down to the fact of why they call it Passover, because he had them all put a cross on top of their in blood on their doors, and they were passed over for all these different things. But then it was time, and the favor was coming, and so they got out in front of it, and they camped, and then they camped again, and out they were getting ready to go they ended up in the direction of where the Red Sea is. And there was no way around because by now, all the chariots, all the bad guys were chasing them. And so, but Moses had such faith, okay, that he just trusted God. God said, told him what to bring. He had a staff. He had no clue that there was going to be a moment that he's going to need that staff. I'm sure when they're running through the forest or whatever they were doing to try to not go get, you know, captive again, that not carrying that big stick would have been kind of nice, would have made him be able to, but he kept it because God told him to keep it. And he had no clue that he was going to come up to the Red Sea. And this had never happened before. And I don't think it's ever happened since. But he came up to the Red Sea with his staff, and the Red Sea parted. They say it was like gelatin. It parted. Every single person got through, and, and then the chariots, all the things from that were chasing them came, and then all the water came back. If that is not crazy miracle, wow, I don't know what is. And so that there always reminds me up to the point. So I feel like you might be doing something that it feels like is a waste of time, like the faithfulness of Moses. He brought everything. He trusted God with everything. God said bring this. It would be like stepping outside and it's 100 degrees and God told you to take a umbrella. And then have you ever done that? Like you bring something because you're expecting the weather to change, but it looks the opposite, right? You're like, why do I have this umbrella? It is like 100 degrees. Everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you need the umbrella. I feel like we're in this season right now where don't count yourself out. Like I've heard people telling me, well, this is going to happen in October. This is going to happen. Guys, that's what it's looking like. But I'm sure that they all thought they were going to drown and the Red Sea parted. So I don't know what your Red Sea moment's going to be, but go dig into that part of the Bible. Just type in it, and I believe it's in X. Is it in X? I think it's in Exodus. Sorry, I should know. I know where it's at, but I don't have that Bible in front of me right now. But you know what? Sometimes it's good to go on your own little hunt. But then you know what? God provided manna. He provided all kinds of things, and they doubted him. They went up and scouted out the land and decided God had them stay for 40 years in the wilderness. So I feel like a lot of us are in a wilderness time frame. There's all kinds of wilderness. If you've ever followed John the Baptist, he was in the wilderness. And I feel like we're in a midst of wilderness, but wilderness produce things. Wilderness produce things from us, and then we come out of it. So I just want to encourage you that wherever you're at right now, don't give up. Don't sit down and say, you know what, I'm just not going to do that in the month of September. I'm just done. I'm just done. I'm just going to wait till January because it just doesn't look like anything that's happening. I'm just going to go do this. I would watch your words, even if you hear yourself saying, oh, why do I have to suffer so much? Or I'm just gonna do this. I'm just going to do that. If you find yourself saying that, make sure that you slow down and hear what God's saying. That's why I've been taking a little time with him. I keep trying to plan a couple of things, and the timing has been off. And so in the past, I wouldn't have caught that the timing was off, to be really truthful with you. But I want to be more sensitive to those things. So even go back and look at your timeline for the month of August, for the month of a couple of days. Like if you were having a really good time and then all of a sudden you feel like you're having a challenging, just sit with God, ask him what he's saying. He wants to talk to you. He wants to tell you things. And I'm just going to tell you that I felt like he's still telling me to tell people it's not over. We know what happened at the Red Sea, but when these people were running from Pharaoh and they're running from all these things, they did not know that. And in the midst of it, God told Moses to keep his staff, so he's got his staff with him. And then God says, take that staff. All these people are running, they're screaming, they're in front of the Red Sea. It seems impossible. They can't cross it. They're gonna probably die if they go through. And God speaks to Moses, take your staff, put it here, and go through. But if you read in the Bible with that, they had to step. They had to, that it didn't open until they stepped into it. I mean, if you don't have faith, you're going to think you're going to drown, right? So that story is so powerful. And I feel like it's an on time story right now for where some of you guys are. Maybe some of you are in other places, but I feel like no matter what, there's probably something in your life that do not give up. Don't panic. Don't turn around. Trust in God. Moses is such an example of that. He always went, and I'm pretty sure it's either the end of Genesis or Exodus, because I read it way earlier this year and I went back through it little at a time because I was reading the Bible in a year, and it really stood out to me because it covers in the Bible both when God speaks to Moses of what to do and tells him what to expect, what's going to be coming, and then when Moses does it, and then they share it in the Bible again. I think because and over and over, if you've ever read the Bible like from one whole chapter, sometimes you're like, what? Especially in the Old Testament, why are they repeating this like 5 times? Because in there, I noticed the main key part was God would speak to Moses. Then Moses had to choose to take the steps of faith. And a lot of times what he spoke didn't happen immediately. But when it happened, Moses did exactly what God told him to. So I just think that we hear from God more than we realize. And then the timing's not adding up, the things aren't adding up, but God's timing is perfect. Imagine they camped over the night before and then they headed out to the Red Sea. Okay. Imagine if they didn't. Oh gosh, but God told him to have everybody camp. Moses did exactly what God told him to. And so I just want to encourage you today, guys, to lean in, slow down. Don't be so fast to run out. God is doing something in the trusting him point. He is doing something in your wilderness, in your trial that can't be produced any other way. I'm just going to tell you, I think of a lot of the really hard things even last year that I went through, which 2 days from now I went up. My dad got sick. I remember August 31st I think we finally got him to go to the ER like at 3 in the afternoon. I didn't leave there. I went in on August 31st and I came out in September, and it was kind of funny to say. And that was just the start to a whole lot of stuff. But you know what? My faith has really grown. I have seen God show up in new ways. Um, my like learning how to walk through grief, um, learning how to do all these things, it brings you to a different place. I think we always want the comfortable, we always want the easy. But I was just listening to Krista Smith. If you guys she's got a new book out, and she was releasing a message up in Reading at Bethel Reading. If you guys go on YouTube, it's amazing. But she was sharing similar that we're in this season of of wild ones. Like this is where your wilderness is what produces what she called the wildness of you. Because there comes a point, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not giving up. I've come way too far. I'm not giving up. So I don't, all right, well, this is a new one. This is a new way. Oh, your dad passed away August 31st last year. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my second dad passed away October 13th, but everything started on August 31st. Well, they started a little before, but I ended up there by accident. It turned out I had the date of an appointment wrong, but I really didn't. I I just had this thing that I knew that God was telling me to go up there. And literally my mom reached me as I had my whole car loaded up with things I was taking up there. And she's like, "Wait, why are you coming up today?" And I'm like, say to my husband, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, I think you should just, we had food in the car. I'd had ice chests because a lot of times I take them up different things. And my husband was like, I think you should just go up there. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just go up there. That I saw how bad he was. By 3 o'clock the next day, we talked him into going to the ER, which was a miracle in itself. And so, yeah, there was a whole lot that happened. Everything I had planned for September. Matter of fact, I was just looking at my calendar from last year and I was reminded, oh, yeah, I thought all those things were about ready to happen and I was about ready to launch some other programs. And honestly, I feel like for the last 12 months, nothing's quite gone. I thought all these things are going to already happen. But you know what? There's so much in the midst of it. And I wouldn't, and so I just want to encourage you. You're further than you think you are. I think the biggest lie in our head is you missed it. You're not going to be there. I know. I know financially things are really hard for a lot of people right now, but I just want to encourage you. I believe a lot of you are right on the brink of getting your perfect clients. I think sometimes as business owners, which I am, and entrepreneurs, we can go, oh my gosh, what happened? Did I do something wrong? In my entire career of owning businesses since 2007, and I've worked with business owners since 1997. I there when you see trends over and over, not just for yourself but for other people, I start to realize that's what transition looks like. We're in another place of transition. I don't know how many people you may know, but I know so many people that just moved a second time and they moved a year ago or 2 years ago, just changed things again. And they probably had never changed in a really long time. Pastors are leaving, pastors are going. New churches are planting new things, new stuff. I've noticed in my life, God started to show me when I'll go back and look at it, like I'll only have one client and everything paid, and I had no clue. Partners were about ready to betray me and I was going to be leaving, and in my industry I would have never gotten paid for anything. So the Lord pulled back a lot of my clients in that season because he knew what was going to come. And so I've noticed, I'm not going to do it in panic, but it's a lot of times a reset. It's a lot of times there's this new thing. It's the new. And so sometimes it's one step at a time. So I just want to encourage you that if you've noticed your friend groups are changing, just know you're in you're moving into something new. Okay. I always think of military. Okay. And Krista Smith was talking about the wild ones, and it makes me think of what the Lord talks to me about all the time about being a Navy SEAL and being in training for special ops as a Navy SEAL, which is like the elite. The Navy SEALs lead some of the most, a lot of the things in the military, going to other countries that have happened. They happen in secret underneath. No one else knows what's going on, right? But the training that they have to go through, most of the time when they're not on mission or not on assignment, they're training for the next mission or assignment, because the training is what helps them. It's the practice. So a lot of times what that looks like for us. But I was thinking about the fact, I was like, not everybody's called to be a Navy SEAL. Not everybody, I don't know why I was just thinking of this. Not everybody is called to be in the military. But I believe a lot of us, including myself, I am. And if the Lord keeps always moving you, and you'll notice you have an assignment and then it changes, you probably are too. You are called on assignment. You might be called in special ops. You may be called to be willing to move, be willing to change. Where I was just hearing a couple of stories from people, and my mom said, wow, was so amazing that they had the courage and the faith to go when God said go. And I could tell you so many stories of people going when God said go, when it didn't seem to make sense. And by the end, everything lined up and it was amazing. And if you didn't do it when you should have, God still comes in. So I just want to encourage you with that. You said, yes, I'm further than I think I am, Sam. Yes. Breakthrough is coming. Breakthrough is coming. It's a new level. And just stay in that place of peace. Let peace be your guide. If you find yourself comparing, if you find yourself going, I'm just done with this, you're probably out of peace. And if you can just go back, sometimes it's words that are spoken over us. Sometimes we've taken our eye off of, we're not supposed to be poking out of where we're supposed to be. I say poking out because if you go look over here, right? Go look over there. You just be focused, and you're looking in the wrong areas. The enemy, the devil, your flesh, whatever the heck you want to call it, that can take you off of mission. That's why, like in the special ops of all military, the military already goes through so much of the special ops. They have to learn how to be so focused and just follow the Father. And so I just feel like that's where things are at. So I just want to tell you, God is not done with you. This year is not over until December 31st. Okay. And I have seen many, many testimonies. That's why I encourage you, if you're not inside Camp Gambini, invite your friends, because we do Testimonial Tuesday. Andrea actually shared a testimony last week that I've probably used and shared in 3 different places to encourage people, because sometimes you even do things and you donate your time and you do all these things, and then you think, what the heck? It didn't work the way I thought. I was reminded of some friends that are celebrating their anniversary, and they're and I can remember when when I met them, they were fully divorced. One was in jail, and one had finally stopped with the drugs, but now started with alcohol. It now, all these years later, I think it was more like 13 years ago. All these years later, they got God healed both of them separately. It was a miracle. I'm just telling you. Their kids, their everything. When I was seeing them, I was like, God, when I just see all God's done in their lives, it tells me of the impossible God that we have. And here's the one thing. They turn their eyes towards God. And you know what? Even when they got it wrong, God gently course correct them and brought them back. And that's just one of so many stories, whether they're big or small, that God can do. I mean, I'm just telling you, they were divorced. They reestablished their marriage. I mean, there are things. So even if you I don't know what it is that you're standing for. I don't know what provision it is that you're believing for, but don't get out that measuring stick and compare yourself to other people. Comparison is that is a train wreck. That is a sure thing for you to get unfocused. if you find yourself even going, oh, they're doing really well, I'm going to give you a little tip. Okay. I struggle with that too. I'm going to give you a little tip of what to do. Celebrate them. Write on their wall, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There is something that shifts in your brain because we need to celebrate each other. Their victory is my victory. Their testimony is my testimony that just hasn't come in the moni, the other part yet. Celebrate people. Don't compare yourself. Don't go, oh, well, their life just always looks good. Comparing, judging, you have no clue what's going on. I had somebody send me some messages when they were going through some really hard stuff. And because I go on live, they and they saw me sharing things. They just were like, oh, well, you don't know what it's like to be hungry. You don't know what it's like. You know what? My church was such a blessing that they give us this thing that we can pass other people or keep for ourselves with food. But can I just tell you, in a humble place, it's a little embarrassing to say, but that has been a blessing that's provided. So I was cooking food that had been given to us, but I chose to celebrate that. I chose to make it a moment to show a recipe I made. I call myself the kitchen sink because a lot of times I'm getting things given to me and I'm going to figure out what we can turn it into a food and enjoyment in this season. Or I could sit there and look at everyone else. And yeah, I had somebody that I know that they were just hurt. They were just in a really, they were spinning. And that's what happens. You just start to spin once you're comparing and once so watch your words. If you find yourself saying, you see somebody else and you're like, yeah, they don't know what that's like. Don't have a pity party, my friend. Don't be a victim. Take that tea party and make it a celebration for them and for other people, because comparison, I can always tell when people are comparing that it's never going to happen again. I would encourage you to feast on the testimonies, feast on the people's stories. And so I search out to listen to those stories. I'll go on YouTube, I go and watch to hear the overcomer stories. Feed yourself with overcomer stories when you're in the midst of overcoming. Don't go feed yourself. I'm just going to say with a whole bunch of, if you're waiting for God to bring you that perfect mate, might not be the best thing to go watch 500 Hallmark romances, because you're now thinking you're before you know it, you're in pity party mode. You're in, this will never happen. Watch your words. This will never happen. Yeah, I'm just not meant for that. Well, I'm going to have to give this up. If you are out of peace, watch that. That's our little sign from God. It's like boop, 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 ooh, right? Like I try to listen to it a little sooner. But guys, I get it. I get it. I'm not naive. And you know what? I share with you guys, but I don't even share with you. If I shared publicly, and some things I can't share publicly because it's not always just my story. It's other people in my life story. So if I'm sharing what's going on with me, it's sharing private information for other people in my family that don't necessarily want things to be shared and broadcast. And I'm just going to tell you, yes, that has happened. I have many people, friends and family, that are like unfriended me. I've had it all. You have no clue what happens behind the scene. But you know what? I'm not going to quit what God told me to do and encourage other people, because I always do it for the one person that needed it. And if you just do it for one, God, the only person you need to do it for, even when it doesn't go right, okay, what went wrong? What do you want me to do different, God? Not make it that it's the end of the world, because we're learning. We're always going to learn. I think the biggest lie is, I'm going to hit this place that's just going to be perfect and there's never going to be problems. I'm just going to tell you, I have a very different um, seat in a lot of places for the last 27 years. So I have worked with a lot of millionaires. I've worked with some top doctors that don't have any money anymore. I've seen every single thing. I've seen the .com boom and bust. I've seen in 2007 and 2008. And I'm just going to tell you, it's the things they were doing in 205, 206, all of these things. I've seen it all. I've seen people come back amazing too, and they learn from it. Life is about being a steward of our life, right? Learning, not God will gently course correct us, but our testimony, if we don't have a testimony, then it's not just the one time when whatever overcome. Our life is an ongoing testimony to bring people out. Let's see here. You said that's awesome. I heard Rex Crane say, what if we measure our success by the amount of joy we have in the process? Yes. And I have people, I know you're going to think, well, that's a rough problem to have, but I have people saying to me all the time, oh, you're just happy, you're just born that way. I'm like, no, it is a choice, but I'm gonna fight hard to stay in joy, because I know what joy reaps. I know what figuring out how to fill up my hope tank and get back in hope reaps. I know what these things reap. And so if I just go down into the pit, I call it, of unbelief, it's like doubt, confusion, chaos. Before you know it, you're down in this deep pit. You're like, what the heck happened? So my whole thing is learning faster before I drop to the whole pit of, right? So I just hope that this encouraged you. I just felt like the Lord wanted me to continue with that, and bless you. And guess what? I still didn't get everything done that I needed to do today, that I thought I needed to do, that I thought I needed to do, did you hear that? I thought I needed to do. So you know what I'm going to do when I get off this call? I'm going to sit with God again. Okay. What did we want to finish? What did we want to do? And reroute it. Hi, Amy Green. And I'm going to go back with him, because you know what? Me sitting there and being all upset and being disappointed. Hey, Tara, it that is not lovely. I'm just going to tell you. I would rather fight for joy. I rather choose happiness. I rather we did, when you know better, you do better. And so when my dad died, we didn't know any better. I didn't know that probably would have been a great idea. I was only 18. My mom didn't know. No one no one was telling us. There were some great things that we were told, but one suggestion was not dad's birthday. It's always been hard. My dad, Larry. Well, when Ed passed away, my second dad, my I said to my mom, maybe we should do something to celebrate him. Not to mention, it was just a couple days through all these things happened, and then within a couple months, he went to heaven. And so we decided to go bowling. Some of you guys might have seen that video. We decided to go bowling. We had hamburgers in his honor, and then we went over, and you know what? We were all filled with joy. We were, me, my sister, my brother Jeff, my nieces and nephews, my great nieces and nephews. I'm going to put together, today is actually his birthday. So if you're on my personal page, I'm going to put together a little video. I took a bunch of little videos. I don't even like to bowl. You know why? Because I feel like I always get gutter balls. So you know what? They put these little rails up and they had little lights on it. And I'm like, sometimes you need the rails. I had fun with those little bumpers, or whatever you call them. Weren't the normal bumpers, but they were. I'd throw the ball and it would hit one, and then I got a whole bunch of strikes. I'm a professional. Made so much more fun. My niece and nephew bowl, and I think they were the ones that must have set that up, because we had my great nephew who's not even 2 yet, and he was bowling. It was about the fun. It was about having fun, sitting with the family in between, laughing, eating our burgers and pizza, and going and having, cones at the Jolly Cone and all the things my dad liked. And was it still not, today I was thinking about things, but I had that joy tank, my joy tank was filled up. My hope tank, my love tank, and my peace tank was filled up. I got to be around my family. We got to laugh and have fun. And so, we're not promised tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow's going to do. So choose joy, choose to be grateful, choose to celebrate other people. When you catch yourself going, oh yeah, they're a jerk. Oh yeah, they're always, I'm just telling you, your words are not going to hurt them whatsoever as much as they're hurting you, because you're speaking death over yourself. You are speaking death. If you feel it, I feel it now. I catch myself like, ooh. And then if not, I also let other people speak into me. And I've had people go, Jody, that's not like you. I'm like, you're right. You're right. I need to shift it out of gear because I don't like that. I don't like feeling that way. Yeah, don't gossip about other people. Even saying, oh, did you see that so and so got a new car? I didn't think they had any money. That is gossip, my friend, and that is not a life giving thing. Instead, celebrate their breakthrough because that means yours is coming. Yes, happy birthday, Ed. Yes, I miss them. I guess I shouldn't have read that, Tara. I do. I miss them, but that's the thing. Grief comes in waves. But last year, we've lost my cousin also. And then, like a month later, we lost Ed. So there was a lot going on. And, you know, but I could tell I've been letting myself grieve. I could tell I've been making space when I just feel like I'm I'm not running and shoving it down. I can tell that. I feel like some of my other results may not be happening the way that I want, and that's why I wanted to share this. Yeah, my mom was a perfect match. Yeah, laughter is good medicine. And, life is hard. That was what Krista Smith was saying. Um, what heart are you going to choose? Actually, it might have been her husband's Sean Smith. I think I watched something else right after. He said it's always hard, but sometimes we choose what we think is easy, and that choice reaps us some other kind of hard afterwards. Whether it is, I just want to get married, or it is that I just want to have this happen, or I just want to have that happen, whatever that is. Um, yeah. Hi, Rebecca. Whatever it is, sometimes when we go, well, I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. He was saying what hard you're going to choose. Normally, I'm just going to tell you the thing that you don't want to do in the beginning is the one you're supposed to do. The thing you're supposed to wait when you almost feel like, did I get it wrong? Is the thing you're supposed to do. Grief is a perfect example of that. If you don't deal with the loss, it's going to come back up and it's not going away. And sometimes it turns into bitterness and anger, and it even can affect your body and physical. I have literally prayed over people that have released grief and things that they've had that were chronic illnesses. They were completely healed because once they released that loss, whether it's a person, whether it's a marriage, whether it's something that didn't, allow it to come out, allow yourself those things so then you can move on to the next thing. But life is going to be hard. It's which hard you're going to choose. Are you going to do the hard up front or the hard in back? And that's what Sean Smith was talking about. And I'm like, yep. He's like, a lot of times you make the decision that is you think is the easier one, or the one that maybe you won't have to go through so much hard things, but it's going to happen at the other side of it sometimes. Sometimes I can't tell you how many people I have coached and counseled that have told me, I knew I wasn't supposed to marry them. Well, why'd you do it? Well, I didn't want to disappoint people. Well, we already had paid for part of the wedding. Well, that would be an example of which heart are you going to take? You're going to take the heart where God keeps telling you that's is not the one, or are you going to move through it? And the hard on the other side is going to be really hard. So, yes, gossip is so destructive and petty. People need to edify themselves so they can lift each other up. Yeah, and we don't need to go around telling other people what they need to do either. Sometimes I think that that is a form of criticism and judgment. Like, well, they should keep that. No, moving on. How can I bless them? How can I um, release them? How can I celebrate them? I'm just going to tell you, even when somebody says something to you really rude, I take a pause and I wait before I can respond with love. Sometimes it takes longer than I'm expecting, but that's what I do. Mark, awesome to see you. Blessings, blessings. Guys, share this if you're on my public page. I have it on Jody Lewis Gambini, and I think I have it on Connecting the Dots. Invite people if you're inside Camp Gambini. We're getting more members, but invite people. And if you're on TikTok, please come follow me on TikTok. That's jody.gambini. And I am excited. And Lord, we just thank you, God. Right now, we thank you that you are just releasing and filling us up with hope, God. I thank you for your wisdom and your insight and your understanding right now that you're going to speak to every one of our situations. You're going to show us, are we speaking death over ourselves? Are we choosing the hard later instead of moving through and doing the hard now that feels like we're about ready to jump off a cliff and we don't know if we're going to fall? Lord, but you say, trust me. You say, I've got you. Take the step, just like in the Red Sea, which we talked about earlier. Moses had to put his staff down and they had to start walking into the sea. I always imagine they might have been up to here, right? And then boom, we got to do action faith, my friends. It's not the first or second time. Yeah, God will a lot of times show up and he's just so kind that way. But our faith isn't built by just doing the same thing. Our faith is built by breaking through things that we've done the same way if we're really being honest with ourselves over and over and we get disappointed. So, like I said, is it huge? My mom actually said my skin looked really good. And this sucker is heavy and it's so funny. It's a total conversational piece though. I go to this one place on Fridays, and one of the guys, he puts these little stickers because I normally show up and I hadn't even drank that much yet. But I love it. I love it. This seems I have not hit the mark every single day in August, and that's okay. I'm going to do it in September too and keep trying. Because before I wasn't doing it. So a lot of things are little steps. So Lord, we just thank you for just giving people a big burst of I can do it. I can do hard things. You can do hard things, my friend. I just want to tell you, you can do the hard things. Choose the hard now. I promise you, it's a lot less hard than choosing the easy or what seems like the sure bet. The hard afterwards is a lot harder. If you see all the things I see, talk to the people I talk to, um, it is a cycle like that. And I'm just going to tell you, so wherever you're at, whatever road you're at right now, don't give up. Choose that next step. Grab onto the mountain with your little fingernails and trust that you're going to get to the top. Trust that you're going to get to that new territory that God has for you. Trust that you're going to get to the new things that He has for you. Choose the hard now. Grab God's hand, and He's got you. Blessings. Trust, true reliance upon salvation's transformation. Knowing is growing. You always have the great words. Blessings to you all, guys. Make sure that if you're watching later, if you didn't say hello yet, say hello. Bye.